Hello and welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up, economist Professor Peter Kortey criticizes Ghana's procurement system, saying it is promoting corruption. Also, National Pensions Regulatory Authority rolls out new supervisory model to safeguard contributions of workers. And the Ghana Stock Exchange places 9th in dollar terms among 15 stock markets in Africa, ending September this year. All these and more with me, Hannah Wadami. Our first story, economist Professor Peter Kortey has criticized Ghana's procurement system, saying it is promoting corruption. According to him, the country's procurement system needs to be checked and reviewed to ensure value for money and accountability of government expenditure. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Kortey, who is the director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, believes the concerns of overspending can easily be dealt with if the procurement system is properly addressed.
Some of the expenditures that we see, they are not value for money spending. Mm-hmm. The procurement process itself, if you look at the cost of a particular procurement and you should go to the market to buy, the gap, the disparity is just too huge to justify such or warrant such an expenditure. I think our procurement processes are not helping us. We are encouraging or centralizing corruption. We are helping others to benefit, rent seekers to benefit from the system. Procurement has to be dealt with, and then as well as ensuring value for money spending in all the areas. Expenditure tracking itself is important, that you track from the point you release the funds up to the end beneficiary to see that, yes, the money is trickling down to the intended people.
You heard the Professor Peter Kortey, who is an economist and director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research. The National Pensions Regulatory Authority has rolled out a new supervisory model that is expected to help safeguard contributions of workers and then protect the sector from shocks. This move has been influenced by the impact of the debt exchange program on the sector. Hayford Attah-Krufi is the chief executive of the National Pension Regulatory Authority.
As regulators, we have developed a new technology which we call the risk-based supervision. That is also helping us in real time to see what the risks are in the industry and then to see how we can mitigate them, and where we cannot mitigate and there are, say, residual risk, we use inspections and sometimes even penalties and other forms of sanctions to bring everybody up through that.
Another Bank of Ghana data suggested that there have been significant growth in private sector contributions to SSNIT, even better than the pre-pandemic levels. For you as a regulator, are you excited about this development?
I'm really excited about it. I mean, today the Director General of SSNIT alluded to the fact that now private sector contribution is outstripping that of government, which means that the economy is expanding. There is more private sector participation in employment, and that can only be a good news for the country.
You heard the Hayford Attah-Krufi, his chief executive of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. The Finance Ministry will from today begin a series of stakeholder engagement to seek inputs for the 2024 budget. The engagement will cover some business associations, civil society groups and other interest groups. Government has promised it will factor the concerns raised by these players in the preparation of the 2024 budget, which is expected to be presented in November this year. Joy Business understands this budget will be heavily influenced by the International Monetary Fund program. Many will be looking forward to seeing how government will deal with expenditure, especially in an election year. Let's move on. Former Finance Minister Seth Terkper has advised government to seek parliamentary approval before attempting to merge the National Investment Bank and ADB. He argues both banks were created by an act of parliament, hence requires parliament to scrutinize the measure. Speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Terkper therefore insisted neglecting parliament will be illegal.
The main elements that are being discussed is that even if it is warranted, it should go to parliament because both institutions were established by an act of parliament on behalf of the people of Ghana. The government of Ghana invested in those institutions. And so the tendency where we have had a lot of things being done outside Parliament, including some off-budget expenditure and the rest, is one of the critical points that is being raised.
Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahene is making a strong case for government to be heavy on remittances in restoring stability in the economy. According to him, this could aid the exchange rate regime in the country and also improve Ghana's macroeconomic indicators. Dr. Etuahene took a swipe at the government for lack of data in tracking the monetary value of remittance. He spoke to Joy Business.
Unfortunately, the remittances is the largest. I mean, if you take its largest, is bigger than all the inflows that come into the country. But we have not made a conscious effort to track and capture all these remittances into our balance of payment position. If we do that, I believe Ghana's will stand tall. Currently, the World Bank data tells me that 4.7, and we only record 2.3. So definitely, it is something to do with the data capturing.
The Ghana Stock Exchange placed 9th in dollar terms among 15 stock markets in Africa, ending September this year. In city terms, the Accra Bears placed 4th. There's more in this report.
The GSE recorded a 29.8% return in cedi terms for investors in the third quarter of 2023. In dollar terms, it registered a 0.22% return for investors. This is coming on the back of the International Monetary Fund program. According to the data, the non-banking stocks led the gains in the equity market. They include BOPP, Total Energies PLC, Unilever and MTN Ghana. In all, 9 stocks recorded gains as compared to 8 losers. The biggest losers were Enterprise Ghana, Access Bank Ghana, and SIC Insurance. Meanwhile, the market capitalization also shot up to 74.89 billion cedis from 70.24 billion cedis on June 30, 2023. The financial stock index, however, lost 17.57 in value in the first 6 months of 2023. This was primarily due to the domestic debt exchange program, which impacted their balance sheet.
Now, in 2023, co-founders of Wear Ghana sparked the fashion revolution in the country with their Gigi Wear clothing line. After a decade, Wear Ghana wants to become Africa's most loved brand. Just how? Well, here's today's episode of the Joy Business Van.
2 university roommates, Irabna Jiman and Angoko Naikwade, passionate about fashion and freedom, considered using that as a tool to elicit pride in Ghana-made products.
This journey began in 2013 when myself and my co-founder Angoko Naikwade dreamt of the day where we could see an African business in fashion try to play along the lines of the global giants. Both of us had come from industries like banking and telecommunications, and we wondered to ourselves why we weren't seeing fashion businesses which were global giants. And so we set out to try and create a business that we could be proud of.
Well, that bold step would be the beginning of a fashion revolution in Ghana.
The full edition of the story will be aired at 1 p.m. on Joy FM and 5 p.m. on Business Live on Joy News. Just the currency market, and the cedi is going weak for 11 cedis 61 pesos against the US dollar on the forex and retail market. It is selling at 14 cedis 38 pesos to the pound. It's trading at 12 cedis 28 pesos to the euro. And to the commodities, crude oil goes up again to open trading at $90 a barrel. Gold is selling at $1,823 an ounce after increasing marginally. Cocoa lost $74 to open trading at $3,428 a ton. And with that, we end the Joy Business Report with me, Hannah Odami. But you can find all these stories and more when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business.